guys, it's Izzy Rose and welcome back to my YouTube channel! So, the past couple of videos that I've filmed, they've been more like introductory, much more like, hey, get to know me. And now we're just jumping right into what my channel is really about, which I'm going to be talking about mental illness today. Today I'm going to be talking about my personal experience with battling anxiety. I'm filming this video today because I feel like mental illness gets misconstrued a lot. A lot of people just think that, you know, people with mental illness are crazy, or, you know, we're just nervous all the time. You know, typically with anxiety, people just think we're scared all the time or nervous all the time. But it's much deeper than that. And through this video, I want to break the stigma against mental health by talking about it to you guys. Before I get on the video, I'm going to set a little trigger warning right here. If you are sensitive to this topic and, you know, you will get a little paranoid, or this will set off a trigger for you with some of the things that I say in this video, I'm going to kindly ask you to click off of this video. And if you're here to make fun of people with mental illness, I will also ask you to click off of this video. This video is not meant for you to make fun of. This video is meant for people to be educated and to not feel like they're alone if they are struggling with anxiety, as well as to tell people about my personal experience with this mental disorder. I will ask you guys to not self-diagnose yourselves, as this can be dangerous. I just want to let you guys know, if you ever feel stressed, nervous, anxious, worried, consistently and all the time, I would ask you to talk to a parent about it. And there's also plenty of counselors that you can go to. There could be one at your school, there could be one in your hometown, there could be one near where you live. But just so you guys know, there's always help. You guys can always get help. You know, it's never be all or end all with mental illness. So I won't let this intro go on for too long. If you guys like this video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up, and please subscribe to my channel down below for more videos. Also, click the bell icon so you can get notified each time I upload a new video. So yes, let's get on with the video. So I want to start off by saying, what is anxiety? By psychiatric definition, anxiety is a nervous disorder characterized by a state of excessive uneasiness and apprehension, typically with compulsive behavior or panic attacks. So, how did I know that I had anxiety? Since I started high school, and even before that, I always used to get myself super frazzled and worried over the littlest things, and I would never give myself a break. I would never think rationally about social situations, as well as situations that involved my education, and overall I just thought that everybody was out to get me and that nobody wanted me to succeed. And how my journey with anxiety started off was with these thoughts coming into my head, and I know that they're just lies now, but back then I didn't even realize that these thoughts weren't normal. I thought, you know, everybody was having these thoughts. I also loved routine, and I know that, like, that's normal for a lot of people. Like, a lot of people really like routine because, like, people feel safer in it. They feel like, you know, they get up in the morning, you know, they have like a routine, they know what they're gonna wake up to, and that's normal. But people with anxiety like routine because they know what's gonna come next. And that's exactly what was going on with me. I liked routine because I knew what was gonna come next. And when life would throw stuff at me, like life does, I never took it as it came. Instead, I would freak and worry myself out, and I would, you know, wonder, you know, if I would ever be able to get the stuff done for the day that I wanted to get done. And if I didn't, I would stress myself out more. And by the time I got to high school, I fell into the lie of believing that, you know, everything that I was had to be perfect, from my clothes, to my hair, to my shoes, to my makeup, to my grades, to everything, as well as in my social life. And I would stay up all night studying on, like, consistent periods of time. It would just be every night, study, 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 study. And it would be like sometimes up until like midnight or like 1 o'clock in the morning. And it wasn't because I had an excessive amount of criteria to study. It was because I wanted to get everything perfect. Like, I wanted to be this perfect straight A student. And sometimes I would stay up until midnight procrastinating, and then I'd be like, holy crap, it's midnight, I have to study for a test that I have tomorrow. Like, I wouldn't like take care of myself, and I thought that I had to have like perfect attendance, and I thought that if I didn't have perfect attendance, then, you know, it's the end of the world. And this is what believing these lies led me to, not taking care of myself. The ball literally just kept getting bigger. It was like a snowball. It was like, you know, it would start off as like, okay, studying until midnight one night, but then it would happen every night. So like my mental health would just like, I would start thinking unrealistically about the life I was living and about the way that I had to behave. I just want to let you guys know, toxic perfectionism and anxiety do not mix well. And that continued throughout my freshman year, and, you know, freshman year was a whole story in itself because, like, I had theater going on in like the beginning of the year, so I was literally just like thrown into everything. Like, literally just like homework was like piled on top of me. At least I let that happen. And, you know, then I had theater going on, and we would have rehearsals until like 9 p.m. at night. Because because at the time, like, the theater department in my district wasn't run very well, at least, you know, we tried to, but it's gotten so much better the past couple of years, which I'm very thankful for. But that made everything worse. You know, the rehearsals that I had until 9 p.m., I would go home and study, and, you know, again, I'd be up until midnight or 1 in the morning. And I felt like I couldn't tell anybody this because they would think, like, oh, you're just a bad procrastinator, you know, you're just a bad student, or things like that, or, you know, I thought people wouldn't understand, or people wouldn't sympathize with me. Because the reason why I procrastinated was because I was doing so much. I literally did not give myself a rest. When I came home, like, I wouldn't even, like, give myself time to chill and, like, watch a movie or something. Like, I literally came home and got right down to work, and I would work for a few hours, up until I had to go to bed, which I know now is not healthy. And the procrastination, it got better through my sophomore year. And, you know, sophomore year was when lockdown started, for COVID-19. And because that, you know, the middle of my sophomore year, like, you know, 2 years ago now, was when, like, my anxiety was getting really bad because I had so much on my plate, on top of my toxic perfectionism. You know, being trapped in my house, you know, didn't seem like such a bad idea to me. You know, I thought everything was gonna be so fine, you know, and it honestly was. I mean, I got a little break from socializing and being hard on myself. You know, what I appreciate about quarantine was that, like, it was a time for us to reflect, and it was a time for us to take a step back and to say, okay, I'm not, you know, really paying attention to my mental health, how can I do better? But, you know, staying up really, really late got better. Everybody stayed up late in lockdown, everybody, you know, got up late in lockdown, everybody literally would, like, be on their phone forever, and, you know, that's literally what lockdown was, just like being trapped in your house. Like, what are you gonna do in your house? So I had the freedom to, you know, just do whatever I wanted. I was like, holy crap, like I don't have anybody to, please. Like, I was such a people pleaser my freshman and sophomore year, and this time I didn't have anybody to please, so I was very relieved. I was like, whew, that's off my plate. Now, my junior year is when I started to realize that the way that I was living was not right, and it was not healthy. I wasn't procrastinating on homework anymore. I disciplined myself to do that. I was very proud of myself. I still don't do that, but I was distance learning throughout almost the entirety of my junior year up until April that year. So on the East Coast, we, at least in New England, we start school in September, and we go to school up until, like, mid-June or, like, late June, depending on, like, you know, how many snow days we get. So April is considered like 7 of the 9 or 10 months that we go to school for. So yeah, I didn't go back to school until April of my junior year. But while I was distance learning, you know, sitting in my little room for a long period of time, I was getting more and more anxious. We were on Zoom calls, and even on the Zoom calls, I felt like I had to people please. You know, I was not one kid who had her camera on, even though everybody else had their camera off. But, you know, I knew I'm a considerate person. I knew that the teachers don't like just looking at black screens all day. So basically, the more and more I sat in my room, the more and more dangerous my thought process got. It was literally just me sitting in here doing homework and listening to my own thoughts, which, you know, it's a dangerous pastime. Some of the thoughts that would come to my head would be like, if you don't get this done, or if you don't get this right, something's gonna happen to you. Or something like, people will hate you, or you'll regret this later, or things like that. Like, literally toxic perfectionism at its finest. And of course, eventually those thoughts would get to you, and you would eventually start to believe them, and I did, because I wasn't getting the proper help that I needed. So let me explain this to you guys. People with anxiety tend to have more, like, distorted thoughts than the average person does. So what a distorted thought is, so there's your voice, and then there's the distorted thought. The distorted thought is just your brain working. It's just like a thought that comes to your head. It's, you know, not actually you thinking. It's just like a random, like, pop-up in your brain that comes to your head. It's almost like a notification on your phone. It's kind of like that. And then there's your voice, which is basically like you talking, you thinking. So, like, a distorted thought could literally be anything. Just, you know, it could literally just say, like, I don't know, it could say, oh, that girl's hair looks weird. You know what I mean? Or, like, but it's not you. It's your brain being weird. The brain is so weird. Like, psychologists we don't know everything about the brain, just like we're not gonna know everything about life, but hey, why am I doing this with my arms today? I just realized, like, I'm being like this today. I'm being big with my arms today. I don't know what's going on, you guys. I don't know. But people with anxiety, and people with depression too, our distorted thoughts tend to be more condescending and judgmental. And if you're me and a perfectionist, again, not a good mix. So these thoughts started getting really bad in January of my junior year, so last January in 2021. And it was to the point where I thought every little tiny detail had to be perfect, because I didn't have other people around me to help me to realize, like, okay, they're not perfect, so I don't have to be perfect either. I wasn't realizing that my social life, my academics, and what I was doing, you know, for myself in general to succeed in life, I was doing fine with that stuff. I realized, you know, the more and more that I sat down with myself and just listened to my thoughts, the more and more I realized, you know, that I have flaws just like every other human being, but the flaws would be very apparent. They would be much more apparent to my pros. Meanwhile, I was doing very well in school. I had great relationships with my teachers, but my brain made me believe the total opposite of everything that I was doing. What's funny about anxiety is that, and like, even if you don't have anxiety, your brain can still lie to you, but it's up to you as to whether or not you believe what your brain says to you. You have the evidence right at your hands, which is how you were doing before that thought came up to you. Yeah, my grades are actually good. I have great relationships with my teachers. My friendships are fine. My relationship with my parents are fine. You know, everything's fine. So why am I believing that everything's not fine? And what I didn't realize was that if I messed up, that's okay, because that's what makes me human. I'm not a robot. We all make mistakes. I didn't realize that though. I thought I had to be perfect. And if I wasn't perfect with everything, then, you know, I thought I was a failure to myself. So in March 2021, I'm coming up to the 1-year anniversary of this day, this particular day. For theater, we were doing like a virtual cabaret. So if you guys don't know what a cabaret is, it's like, so say like I am assigned a song. I go to sing it, you know, I act in character, I'm doing very well, I bow. Then the next person comes up, they sing a song from a different musical. That's basically what a cabaret is. And it goes on for maybe like an hour and a half. It really depends. But because everything had to be virtual last year, I was getting ready, you know, I was doing my makeup, I was doing my hair, and I was getting into my costume and everything, and I was getting ready to film a video of me singing. I had to go to my school, and, you know, my music teacher was going to be there, and she was going to help guide me to sing and perform. I was at home getting ready, and at this point, my blood pressure and my perfectionistic brain were both through the roof. I was like, my hair has to be perfect, my makeup has to be perfect, I have to be perfect. And once those thoughts came to my head, I literally felt myself stop. Like, I couldn't take these thoughts anymore. This was when I started to develop a panic attack. And this is my first ever panic attack. I tried to fight it, but I just couldn't. I remember I started crying and breathing really heavily. And because I was crying with my makeup on, I started beating myself up about crying because my mascara was gonna run and everything. And I was already stressed out enough that I had to hurry up, you know, to get ready for this video. So I go into my bathroom to take my makeup off. My bathroom is right next door to my room, and I'm just screaming at the top of my lungs at this point. My mom came downstairs. She heard me from all the way upstairs in her room. I was screaming so loudly. And she came into the bathroom to try to console me. And I'm just standing in the bathroom. The door is closed, and my mom is with me. And she's just letting me breathe. She's just letting me, you know, get everything out what I need to get out, because this is what, you know, a really hard day for me. I was finally letting all the anxiety that was developing within me, I was just letting it out. That's what a panic attack is. All the anxiety that is just developing within you, you just let it out. But it's through, you know, breathing really heavily, maybe you're crying, maybe you're screaming, and I was still breathing very heavily and I was still crying. The panic attack lasted for about, I would say 20 to 30 minutes. It lasted for a really long time because this is my first one. It was developing over a period of months. It wasn't just like a couple of days. After I've calmed down, my mom sits me down in my bed in my room, and she asks me what's going on. And I just told her. I told her that there was a lot going on in my life, and that, you know, I was sick of listening to people's expectations of me that weren't true. I really just let it all out on her. I'm very thankful that she was there for me when she was. And I also told her that I was sick of needing to be perfect, and I was sick of beating myself up over little mistakes. And I stayed out of school for the rest of that week. That particular day, I did manage to go to school after school hours to record the video for the cabaret that I was in. My music teacher was there. Might I mention, she's like my favorite teacher in the world. I love her so much. And I could be wrong, but because this was like a year ago, you know, I believe that my mom told her ahead of time that, you know, I was having really bad anxiety that day. I decided to film it anyways. So I went to the school and I filmed, and everything was normal. It was on my phone, you know, it was with a green screen behind me. And I was just the character. I was just who, you know, the character had to be. And, you know, I still have pictures from that day. I looked completely fine on the outside, but little did anybody know what I just had experienced that day. I came home wondering if my teacher really believed what my mom told her about me having that anxiety because of how fine I looked. My mom then reached out to my teacher and told her what I was thinking. My teacher got back to my mom and showed her 100 belief in me, and she said that she supports me in whatever comes my way. And if I ever need someone to listen to or to talk to, she's always there. So yeah, thank you. So the next day, my mom reached out for a therapist, and I went into therapy about 2 weeks later, and that is when I got diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder. I will say I'm very thankful for the support that I got, you know, when people started finding out that I had anxiety from, you know, from my friends to my family to my teachers. I'm very, very thankful. Thank you all so much. And for the rest of my junior year and for throughout the summer, I went into therapy. I learned tricks, tips, and tools that would help me whenever I would get nervous or anxious because of distorted thoughts that would come to my brain. I learned breathing exercises, and what really helps to challenge those thoughts is positive affirmations. Positive affirmations is so great. I love them. I say them every day. And also just like saying things that you're thankful for. That's another tip that like I found very helpful. Thankfully, my anxiety got better once I learned the ultimate trick for me personally. This trick works for me. I hope that it'll work for you guys. Like, this was like the ultimate breakthrough for me. Usually I would get nervous about saying something wrong or doing something wrong or offending people when I said something. My ultimate fear was just doing something wrong all the time, which is, you know, another phrase for making mistakes and being human. So I came up with my own trick, the trick of appreciation. When, you know, I figured that somebody would look at me weirdly in the hallway, I would appreciate that they took time out of their day to look in my direction. When I looked at somebody else weird in the hallway, I would appreciate time that I took to look at their outfit and say, oh, they look good today. When I didn't do well on a homework assignment or if I didn't do well on a quiz, I would appreciate that now I know the real answer. And it was just, those are just little examples. It was all mainly just like thinking negatively about everything and just believing negativity at its finest. And you guys can come up with your own appreciation methods. I would like you guys to comment down below some things that you would appreciate at just like random moments that come up during the day. That technique for me was such a game changer. I started feeling less worried about myself and my life. I started believing that everything was going to be okay in the end, and that it wasn't the end of the world if I wasn't perfect like everybody else. And I feel like the need to be perfect came from wanting to stand out from people, but then I realized that I have my own other qualities that make me stand out that are much healthier than perfectionism. And now I'm proud to say that I am much better mentally. I now know that I am a human, not a robot, and I always look into the future with the glass half full. I'm thinking more positively about myself and my life. I tell myself I'll get it next time when I mess up. And I'm very thankful for where I am now with my mental health. If I didn't reach out when I, you know, had that panic attack, I don't know what would have happened. And of course those thoughts do tend to come back and bite me every so often, but the tools that I have learned, I can use them to cope with those thoughts and to challenge those thoughts and to keep healthy behaviors. And if you guys are wondering, I will have a video on certain tools that I use for my anxiety. So there you guys go. That was the video. I really hope you guys enjoyed watching and that you guys really enjoyed hearing about my experience with anxiety. I really hope that, you know, this helped you guys to not feel alone, or, you know, this helped you guys learn about what anxiety truly is. It's not just somebody, you know, acting crazy or being nervous or anxious or worried all the time. It's so much more than that, and I really hope that this video helped you guys to realize that. And once again, you guys, if you like this video, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel down below, and please hit the notification bell so that you will be notified every time I upload a video. Also, make sure to follow me on my Instagram, Izzy Rose McElroy, and make sure to follow me on my TikTok, which is also Izzy Rose McElroy. I love you guys so much. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!